Hey everybody, my name is Addie. I graduated high school in 2017 and I was a part of St. Andrew's Youth Ministry for a very long time. For today's devotional, I wanted to share with you guys something that I'm very passionate about, which is Bible storying. A lot of times people think that Bible stories are just for kids, but I think it's a really cool way to be able to share stories, true stories about God and how He's worked in a way that lets people let their guard down instead of just jumping to being defensive and everything. And I'm really passionate about it because that's how we shared about God in the ministry I helped with this summer in Peru, because the people there were not able to read, so they had to rely on word of mouth. So we would craft these stories straight from Scripture and share them and teach them to the people there. So the story that I am going to share with you guys is right from Exodus 4. So here's the story. Moses was tending to his father-in-law's sheep on a mountain when off in the distance he saw a bush that was on fire, but it wasn't burning up. So he walked over to the bush, and the fire called out and said, "Moses, Moses, take off your shoes, for you are on holy ground." So Moses took off his shoes and turned his face away because he was afraid. And again the fire called out and said, "Moses, I have seen the hurting of my people in Egypt. I have a land that is good and plentiful and set aside for them. I'm going to send you to set my people free." And Moses said, "Why are you sending me?" And God responded, "I will be with you." And again Moses questioned, and he said, Who should I say sent me?" And God said, "Tell the people, I am who I am sent you, the God of Abraham and your ancestors." But Moses questioned again, and he said, "How will they know that you sent me?" And God gave Moses signs to prove that he had spoken to God. And one of those was when he threw his staff on the ground, it turned into a snake. And when he picked it back up again, it was a staff. But Moses still questioned God. He said, "Why are you sending me? I'm not good at speaking." And God was angry at Moses. He said, "Is it not I who created your mouth and will give you the words to speak?" But God still allowed Aaron to go with Moses. And together, Aaron and Moses went to Egypt, and through a series of plagues and trials, God used them to set his people free. And eventually, a long time later, his people got to go to the promised land. And that's a story. So after we would tell a Bible story, we would go through a series of questions with the people. And so I'm going to share with you those questions. So the first question is, what did you like about the story? What did you not like about the story? What does this story teach you about people? What does this story teach you about God? What did you learn, and how can I apply this to my life? And when we get to how can I apply this to my life, we always answer in first person. So for me, I think what I learned, how I can apply that, is that sometimes when I'm doubting why God is doing something, I can look back at the story and remember that God keeps his promises, and there's no need to doubt him because he will keep his promises to his people. Because Moses was doubting God, but God did everything he said he was going to do and eventually brought his people to the promised land. And that's something that I know I can find comfort in. And so what did you learn from the story, and what can you apply to your life? And then the very last question is, who can you tell this story to? So who is somebody in your life that you can retell this story to? And I would encourage you to go and do that. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Holy Week, and just remember that you have a God who keeps his promises.